Welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast dedicated to helping you discover great wines with great value for every occasion. On this episode, we review
the Megyer Ferment Late Harvest 2023.
I think you said that wonderfully. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for joining us. We are your wine guides. We are Joel, Colin, and Aaron. Thank you so much for coming back. The reason I'm so impressed, by the way, that you sounded so good right there, Aaron. We're doing a little Hungarian wine today.
Oh,
okay,
man. That's right.
Pretty cool. Have we been to Hungary yet?
No, I mean, if you don't remember, of all people, sir.
I know.
Yeah. Our Hungarian expert.
Yeah.
This is near and dear to your heart.
I guess I am the Hungarian. Of the three of us, I am the Hungarian expert.
Yeah.
If expertise is based on the relation to the other people's knowledge, you are the expert.
Okay, I've been there. I was
There you go.
11 or 12, so I don't know that I fully appreciated the historical value of where I was, but I do remember being there.
That's good. What percent Hungarian are you?
What percent Hungarian?
Yeah.
Very, very little.
Oh, really? I thought you were like 50% Hungarian.
At the end, well, like my family is Hungarian, but you know, we're going to get into Hungarian history here, guys. The Hungarians are from like all over. And so like anybody who's Hungarian, even if you've been in Hungary, your family's been in Hungary for a long time, you're Polish, you're German, you're this, because they were nomadic people. So
look at this.
You're a mix of a lot of different things.
I didn't know that.
Do I have a lot of family?
We're learning things.
Yeah, right. Do I have a lot of family history in Hungary? Yes. What's my percentage? I don't know. Nothing crazy. But anyway, that's boring, and people didn't come here for that. So tell me, I am excited to go here. I do, I always think it's cool to see Hungarian wine. What do you guys think? I mean, are you excited about this one? How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm super excited. The last couple of dessert wines or sweeter wines that I've had, I've really enjoyed. So I'm actually really excited to be digging back into the category because we had that Riesling ice wine from the Finger Lakes, which was
Werner.
fantastic. Yeah, it was really, really good. We had it at Hawksmoor. We had a little Tokaji as well, which, I think we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. So, I'm just really excited to get into another sweet wine because it's definitely before the show, not a category that I would have ever gotten into by myself. So, I'm excited to check this one out.
Yeah, I mean, before we started doing this podcast, if you had said sweet wine to me, like that would trigger the same part of my brain as when we talk about like super sweet Riesling blue bottles with like your aunties drinking it and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I would never have imagined myself being someone who would drink sweet wine, think about it, and then again, like the Hawksmoor experience, then bring it over at the end was such a nice way to wrap up the meal. I think since we did that, it's been really cool to like get back and talk about it more. But no, I'm excited. I'm stoked about it, and love going to a new region. First time in Hungary. Anytime we jump into a new space, I'm always excited to talk about it.
I couldn't agree more. Also, I'm so glad you brought up Hawksmoor because I got to tell you, I don't know. I'm still thinking that was like 3 weeks ago now. I'm still thinking about that. Still thinking about the whole experience. I'm still thinking about that steak, and I am still thinking about this Hungarian wine because, I think part of the reason, too, that we're all a little bit more open to digging into a little bit of sweet wine here is I think we're all pretty shocked at how much we enjoyed the wine that we had at Hawksmoor, and I think how complex and how fun it was and how fitting it was at the end of that huge, awesome meal. So that's a big reason as to why I wanted to go back and try something similar.
Yeah, and I mean, like we got to go to the Hawksmoor, which is a really cool restaurant. It's a British steakhouse, but they opened their flagship in New York. It's a really cool historic building, and a lot of steakhouses feel very like cramped and like you're kind of in like a smoky corner and all this stuff. And Hawksmoor is intentionally like a big open room, and so a lot of conversation happening around you. Yeah, it's very chill. It made recording our audio. We're gonna have some cool video.
It's gonna be great.
We had a really great sommelier there named Gavin who hooked us up with some really great wines. So shout out to him. And the assistant manager Gabe took care of us. We had this wonderful multi-course meal. Got to try a bunch of wines there, and like wrapping it up with this dessert wine was just such a nice way to end a very rich and delicious meal. So if you're in the New York City area and you have never checked it out, go visit Hawksmoor. It was great. And super excited to get into another wine that we got to kind of mess with there. But I know Colin's going to teach us more in a little bit that this one is a little bit different than what we had that day.
For sure. Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that because I do want to set some expectations. And we will learn a lot more about this in the learning segment. But yeah, we tried at Hawksmoor, it's a Tokaji, which is the dessert wine. This is going to be a little bit less sweet. This is late harvest, so it's not going to be exactly the same. It's not made in the same way. So it's not a step down in quality by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to be different as far as sweetness levels. As we go through this one, try not to exactly compare it to that one because it's not going to be apples to apples.
Totally.
Okay. I think that's to me exciting. Like that's
for sure.
That's good. I'm excited to try something maybe a little less sweet, a little less fully trying to go into the corner of dessert wine because we enjoyed that one. So something maybe even aligning a little bit more to our normal tastes, but still in that realm. That sounds exciting.
Very cool.
So I think, let's talk about this thing. Let's start to get into it. Aaron, would you mind telling the folks at home a little bit more about this wine that we're going to try today?
Yeah, absolutely. So today we're drinking the Megyer Tokaji, which Tokaji being the region in Hungary, obviously. This is 100% ferment. Which is a grape that we've never had before. So crossing one more grape off our, list of 10,000 that we're working on, Ashwin, we promise, we're working on it. This one is a 2021, and it runs you about $25 for a 500 milliliter bottle. So slightly smaller than your average wine bottle. I think that's very common with dessert wines. I know when we got the Werner from the Finger Lakes, that was, I think, $35 for a 350 milliliter for that super cool, tall, skinny bottle. So, a little bit pricier for the amount that you're getting, and 11.5% alcohol. So again, if you're thinking of this as something to end the meal with, and you've already had a couple glasses of wine, you got that lighter ABV at the end of your evening.
It's perfectly set up for that sort of an event. And one thing I do want to call out on this too, just because it's something I've never seen. I don't know about you guys, but one thing I noticed here is it specifically calls out the sugar content of the wine, both at harvest and the residual sugar. So
That's cool.
For the listener at home, it specifically says sugar at harvest, 256 grams per liter, residual sugar, 72.6 grams per liter. I don't really know how that aligns in the spectrum of sugar in the wines that we've had. I'm sure that's on the top end.
It's a lot.
But just the cool thing to me is they're specifically calling it out here. I've never seen that before on a label.
That is cool. Just for some perspective, dry wine is under 10 grams.
I remember you saying something similar when we did the Finger Lakes. It was
sugar per liter.
Yeah.
So this is going to be sweet.
Well, what do you guys think? We've talked it up a whole lot. I'm really excited about giving this thing a try. Let's give it a go.
Okay.
Tastes like wine.
Before we give it a smell, can I just ask Colin, what are the difference between the two numbers on the back of there? What is the sugar at harvest versus the residual sugar?
Sure. So sugar at harvest is how much sugar is in the grapes when they're picked off the vine. And then residual sugar is the amount of sugar left in the wine after alcoholic fermentation. So, and part of fermentation is the yeast eats the sugar to create alcohol. So there's going to be less from when the grape was picked to the wine you're getting in the bottle.
Okay. So the sugar in the bottle is, you said, around 70 grams. So 7 times the average, the dry wine, not 30. As I
7 times a
thought,
perceptible amount.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. Yeah, more sugar, but we're not drinking a Coca-Cola right now.
Yeah, at least you know what you're getting into.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, tell us, Aaron, what are you getting on the nose?
Ooh, man, so super unique on the nose. There's, I think, a little bit more of a tropical.
I don't dislike tropical.
I'm trying to put my finger on what it is, but there's a very, very specific smell. Maybe
I bet I know what it is.
Yeah, go for it, because
I've got one too.
Well, okay, go Colin.
No, Joel, I want to hear what you say.
Well, I was just gonna say apricot.
Apricot? No, that's at 100% in there. There's no doubt about that. But for me, it's honey. This just smells
Yeah.
like honey for days.
I
mean, it
thought
smells
honey,
like
and I already handed it off to you guys, and I was like, I missed an opportunity. I hear that 100%, and then maybe that's probably like the sugar, right? Like 'cause you get that really sugary honey sweetness.
yeah. Yeah. So a ton of honey. I'm also getting like some orange marmalade
Yeah,
and then
I like that.
some lime, but it's not like it's almost more key lime, if that makes sense. And it's also more like lime pith than it is fresh juicy lime. There's a lot going on in this one. Joel,
Yeah.
you picking anything else up?
I'm trying to put my finger on because I really didn't dislike what you said too, Aaron, with tropicalness. Maybe it's a little bit of that apricot, but like
Maybe the orange too. I feel like that's the
yeah.
most tropical
Yeah.
thing in here for me is the orange. It's very
Yeah.
orangey. That and it has that. I don't know if you've had orange marmalade, but like this to me, and I don't even remember the last time I had orange marmalade. But you know how scents can sometimes bring you back to a very specific
yeah.
thing. I smelled this and it just transported me to a jar of orange marmalade. So
But I think
Interesting.
for folks who are listening to the show who are just getting into the wine, who like myself might not have like your tasting sea legs completely, I think naming the honey and the orange are the two that I think if you really picture that and like think your smell memory, like that's a good starting point of what you're gonna get here.
there's also anybody else getting a little bit of white flower in there too? There's like a small floral note in there. It's definitely not the most expressive note in there, but for me, if you smell it long enough,
Oh yeah, like maybe like when you first walk into the flower shop and you kind of get hit with that like floral, like freshly cut. Like yeah, I'm actually
Yeah,
I
I don't
usually have
hate that
no
at all.
idea
That's
what
great.
you're talking about when you name a flower and a color, because flowers just look like flowers to me. But I'm picking up what you're putting down there. It's that freshly cut flower smell is actually right in
No, I
there.
love that I love the walking into a florist too. Like that. You said that, I was like, yes, 100%.
Well, because it has
Very
that
cool.
very specific, when you enter a florist and you're just like, it's almost. It's like
Damn, this
very
guy's always going to
fresh.
the florist. What the
He
hell?
is.
Yo, I have to
Aaron loves the flowers.
apologize a lot.
Fair enough. Fair enough. They're like, Aaron's back. What'd you do
What'd
this
you do
time?
this time? Yes.
I'm throwing apples in there as well. But that's the last thing I'm going to call out. Let's try this thing. I think unique is a good word for all of this. Colin, I'll
Yeah.
go to you first.
You're definitely getting the sugar. There's no doubt about that. This is a sweet wine.
To your point earlier, I would definitely say one, not as sweet as what we had at Hawksmoor, and not
agree.
as sweet as the Finger Lakes ice wine that we had.
I would
I
agree with
think
that as
both
well.
of those were like, whoa, I am having a dessert right now when we
For
drank
sure.
those.
Yep.
And I think this is sweet, don't get me wrong, but a little bit more reserved.
I'll agree with that. I think there's a nice little acidity in there that's maybe making
For
it
sure.
feel a little less sweet and lifting it up a little bit for us.
We got that lift again.
Yeah. I think that apricot really comes across on the palate. It wasn't as expressive on the nose for me, but then when you take a sip, it's like, pow, what's up, apricot? And then I think a lot of the other stuff we called out is also like right on, the orange. I think the lime too, you definitely get a lot of that. Like it's
Yeah.
and it's almost a nice reprieve from some of the heaviness of the other flavors with the honey and the orange marmalade vibes going on. And even the apricot, it's a pretty intense, like ripe, almost dry fruit type apricot. So that lime lift really helps, I think.
But I think it was a really good call on Joel's part. I think the acidity is doing a really nice job cutting through the sweetness. And also, when we tried the ice wine, I remember I liked the ice wine, but it was so sugary and so sweet that it was almost a stickiness to it. Like when you're having, I don't know what a good comparison would be. Just but that
Are you going
post
to talk about the florist again? It's like when you're in the florist and they give you a little bit of chocolate.
Yeah, but it just has like sweet stickiness, and I think the acidity helps cut that down a little bit. Like I'm not getting that like post, sticky feeling that some of the dessert wines I've had in the past have had.
I agree. I
mean,
feel
a
like
little
if there
sticky.
was just
A
a
little sticky.
little Like, yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like if there was one little drop of sugar more, it would be right there. But I see what you're saying. It's like it's just under that threshold to where, it doesn't linger at least maybe as long as the other ones.
This is still an end of the night wine, right? Like this is still like this is
For sure. I
not
was gonna say the
what I am.
same.
I am not
Yeah.
walking into a party and pouring myself a glass to like kick my night off with this, or to take me through the evening. That would just be weird and wouldn't feel right. But this is still a dessert-ish wine.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was gonna say the same thing because I know, Colin, you were saying this technically isn't a dessert wine. If you just put this in front of me, I would be like, yeah, that's a dessert wine. Still, even comparatively, it's still in my head
not
falls
a
into that
dessert
category.
wine. It's just
Yeah.
not
Double
Tokaji
negatives again.
I love that. But yeah, no, I agree. It's very well balanced, and I think what's really nice about this, and you get that with a lot of dessert wines or sweeter wines, is this has a really nice finish. Like I really am enjoying the finish on that. It's more of that lime, almost more of that white flower on the finish. You almost get some of the more fresher notes on the palate after you kind of get assaulted with the heavier, sweeter notes up front. So it's really delightful finish on this wine.
Yeah, agreed. I will say too, I was not in the florist with you guys earlier when we were just smelling it. Now, when we're drinking it, I'm there with you for sure. So
The mockery was because you didn't see it. You felt excluded from the metaphor, so you were mean about it. Got it.
You 100% have just walked into my brain and understand the way that I think. Yes, that is correct. I need to know more about this, so let's go ahead and let's drop a little wine knowledge.
Time to drop some knowledge. Wine drops.
Okay, so first question, let's just start basic here. Colin, tell us a little bit more about Tokai, and I guess why do we relate Hungary to sweet wines? Why is Tokai the wine that Hungary is most famous for?
Sure. Hungary is often associated with sweet wine because Tokai has been around since the 1600s. So this is largely viewed as one of the first dessert wines, which is pretty cool. So, the people of Hungary have been enjoying their sweet wine for quite some time. And, it's really well known when people think Tokai, they mostly think Tokaji Aszú, which is, I mentioned before, the top level of sweet wine. It uses grapes with botrytis, which we're going to learn about a little bit more here in a second, as opposed to late harvest, which are just picked a little bit different. So I mentioned that Tokai's sweetness comes from botrytis, which is actually also known as noble rot, which is sounds
an
really
awesome
gross.
band name.
Yeah.
If I could go back in time, high school punk rock band, Noble Rot. Let's go.
Actually,
That is
both of those are good. Noble Rot and Botrytis are both pretty good bands.
So, Aaron, can you tell us a little bit more about noble rot or botrytis?
Yeah, I mean, super cool. And I feel like I don't remember if we actively learned about this before, but it's definitely popped up in our conversations, especially in kind of our history rants in the background. But noble rot is a fungus called botrytis, and it usually ruins fruit. But in Tokai, with the misty, dewy mornings and the sunny afternoons, it works well for winemaking. So what it does is it actually causes the grapes to shrivel, which creates a higher concentration of the sugar and acidity and flavor. And then that turns what looks like spoiled grapes into just pure gold for the type of wine that's trying to be made today.
And fun fact about botrytis, on red grapes, it's called gray rot. So that
Not noble
sounds
rot.
way worse. No,
Yeah.
noble rot is only when it happens in places that they want it to happen. Other than that, it's called gray rot.
Gray rot
That's
is how I'm referring to my 40th birthday. So, we're just...
Oh, boy.
That's kind of sad.
Which at the airing of this episode has just happened. And so I am
Hey,
sad
Happy
at this
birthday
time. Yeah, thank
in
you.
the future and now the past.
Happy birthday.
Comments
Now, is Over the
in
Hill
this should
40
say
or
you don't
50?
look 40.
Yeah.
Debatable. I've looked this up in my existential dread. It has been both.
I feel like when we were kids, for our parents, it was 40. And I feel like now, altogether, we have pushed that to be 50. and I'm okay.
I
with that.
remember an over the hill party when my dad turned 50.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but my dad
Yeah.
was also older. He was 40 when I was born. So, like,
Ah.
but I can't even call that older because I just had a kid and now I'm 40. Let's get back to the wine that we are talking about today.
Wine is fun.
Wine is fun and gets better with age, just like me. So,
That's there we
not
go.
all Tokai is the same. So there are three main styles: dry, late harvest, and Aszú. Joel, can you describe to the listener what the differences are between those styles?
Yes, for sure. I love that we are starting together right here in the middle, and we have some areas to explore. But three main styles: dry, late harvest, and Aszú. So the dry is going to be a little crisper, a little bit more mineral driven, little younger, a little zesty kind of a white wine. The late harvest, which is the one that we're drinking today, and listen to this description and compare it to what we were
nailed
all
it.
calling out together. Lighter sweetness with peach, apricot, honey. Okay.
Nice job. Nice job.
All of the things that we 100% were calling out. So I love that. We nailed it. Good job. And then the Aszú, the most famous, the sweetest one, the 100% dessert wine situation. It's going to be just, as you would imagine, much sweeter, just a deeper, kind of more complex taste. And this is going to be something that you can actually, lay down and age for a little while too. And that I think would be something really, really interesting to try, an aged Aszú.
In our
Tokai.
notes,
So
it says for decades.
for decades.
For decades.
And
That could be a lot of
boy,
fun.
oh boy. So if you can find some Tokai that's been laying around for decades, my gosh, what a cool find that would be.
Yeah, all the sugar and the acid are what make Tokai Aszú ageable.
It raises a good question because, we're like we've said, we're drinking kind of the middle ground one. We're doing the late harvest. The Aszú, you can lay it down. It's much more complex. Colin, what's the actual difference in the vinification process that leads to that difference?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, dry, obviously, all of the sugar is fermented out. And the main difference between late harvest and the Aszú is going to be the botrytis or botrytized, you might hear, grapes. So,
fancy.
late harvest just means that the grapes are going to be picked at the end of harvest, which can have some botrytized grapes, but the grapes aren't necessarily going to be botrytized. So that's going to be the main difference in how the wine's made. It's the ripeness and whether or not the grapes have botrytis on them.
Okay, so not all Tokais are made from botrytized grapes, but specifically the Aszú
Yep.
is, and that's the big difference.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Okay.
right. That's those really concentrated flavors is going to be the biggest difference. And the late harvest, those riper grapes are they're going to have more sugar just to begin with, and then you add the botrytis. But what botrytis actually does is it pokes little holes in the grape skin, and all the water evaporates, and
That's what makes it shrivel.
that's what makes it shrivel, and it concentrates all those flavors.
And I imagine that's what also causes the slightly higher cost, right, of this wine, because I imagine if you're going through and you are specifically probably hand-picking botrytized grapes, that is a very different and more labor-intensive process than just having, the big shaker machines going through and just collecting all the grapes, because they are specifically looking for grapes that have hit a certain threshold or certain status.
Yeah, for sure. And think about it too. A grape is mostly water. So if you let all that water evaporate, you need an exponential amount of more grapes to create the
press to
same
get
amount of
everything out,
liquid
yeah.
that you would need to make a normal bottle of
Ooh,
wine.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's another reason why it's so expensive, because you usually just can't make as much as a dry style or even a late harvest style, to be honest.
Hey, can I drop one more little bit of knowledge on you guys?
Do it.
Please.
You guys want to
Yeah.
learn some Hungarian with me? We learned Hungarian once before. We're going to do it again. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, here we go. The word I'm going to teach you today is porpafingo.
Porpafingo?
Porpafingo.
I don't believe that's a real word.
It is.
Porpafingo.
Porpafingo.
Okay, and that means
I don't
Porpafingo.
know what it is.
Yes. What did I
Yes,
just say
please.
3 times?
Okay.
are
So
our
there's-
Hungarian listeners offended?
No, they're not. They might be like, what? So this is an interesting thing because what Google Translate says this is and what my father and grandmother always said it is differ slightly, and I don't know who's lying to me. But
Google.
what my father and grandmother always said was that translates to farter in the dust, which you would either say for like a kid, like he was a kid, oh, he was a porpafingo, or like a very short man. And it was like a slightly like you're being a little bit like
That's
a little
rude.
bit of a diss. Porpafingo.
So Aaron's kind of a porpafingo.
See, we didn't have to see. I don't like
Wow.
the segment anymore. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I'm sure I can get some Italian words for you, Colin.
Oh gosh, I couldn't help myself.
Brutal.
I'm sorry. He's not that short.
No,
I'm
he's
right
not. By the
here.
way, Google just says it translates to fart, and that's not nearly as fun as farter in the dust. So I'm going to have to call my dad after this and confirm.
Well, we've just hit a new level on this show. Thanks for that, Joel.
New level of
You're
fun.
welcome. Well, love that. And always love when something that we learn aligns with what we talked about before we learned it. We're doing it again.
Yeah.
I feel very smart when we do that, but smarter now that we've all had a nice little discussion about this wine. So speaking of the wine, let's give it one more taste. See if there's anything new, anything anybody wants to call out, and then let's give this thing a review.
Yeah, I mean, I never read Colin's notes when he sends them out. So the fact that I thought honey and then it was in Colin's notes, I feel really proud about that.
It's
I
impressive.
appreciate that. Thanks.
Impressive.
Less likely to read them now that Colin been from the height again. No, I'll say this. One thing is I know this is supposed to be served really chilled. And I've had mine out for a while now, and I didn't put it in an ice bucket. Maybe I should have. But I'm truly not minding it now that it's warmed up a little bit. It's still just pretty tasty, and you still get those flavors. And maybe the stickiness is just a little, the sugariness is a little less good because the cold kind of cuts through that a little bit. But overall, like, it's still a tasty glass of wine, even if it's warmed up a little bit.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I don't think it's changed too much, to be honest. I think I'm getting pretty much the same experience from when I opened it to now. There hasn't been too much evolution, but it's not necessarily always a bad thing either. I mean, the wines are giving you good stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to evolve. Not all wines do. So, I
Fair.
don't think too much to add here.
Yeah.
Joel?
No, I agree, but I did have a similar thought that you did, Aaron. I was impressed because I did the same thing. I had this thing cold, like to the point where it was a little frozen. I had a little wine slushy at first.
Delicious.
It's nice that as it's warmed up a little bit, it's still very enjoyable. So I appreciate that about it. So, no, I think that's great. So at this point, we've learned, we've talked about it. Let's review this.
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
All right, this was my choice, so I will do myself the honor of going last, and I will go to Colin first.
Sure. Yeah, so this is super cool. I've really been enjoying the experience of this, especially because I think it is, while still sweet, it was very different from the Tokaji that we had, right?
Mm-hmm.
That one was considerably more opulent. Like, it just felt more... This one feels fresher. I'll say that. Even though it's sweet, this one still has a little bit of freshness to it. So, to think back to that wine and then try to compare it to this has been a really fun experiment. I really am enjoying it. I think it's a really well-made wine. I think we touched on the fact that the sweetness and the acidity are really well in balance, which you absolutely need for a sweet wine, because if you don't have that acidity, it's just cloying. So... I think this wine does that really well. And for those reasons, I think I'd have to put this into the most sure category. I think it definitely comes with the, caveat emptor. This is a sweet wine, and you have to be in the mood for sweet wine, because that is absolutely what you're getting. But I think it's a sweet wine that does sweet wine really well. And I would absolutely, bring this somewhere and offer it as a really cool example of Tokai and, a sweeter dessert wine. So, yeah, most sure.
Yeah, I'm absolutely right there with Colin, and it really makes me think about how we present information on the show, and I'm thinking about our website, and really think we need to break it down into, like, our red wines, our white wines, our dessert wines, our wines over $100. Like, it's almost not fair that like our wine fridge only has 3 spots, because I'm never gonna put a dessert wine in my wine fridge, and it's very good. It's like really, really good, and it's tasty, and it's enjoyable, and it's not something I would have tried on my own. So I would say, it's absolute must share. You should check it out. If you want to explore dessert wines, you should find that little dessert wine aisle, at Total Wine or wherever in your wine shop in that back corner. And if you see this, give it a shot, 'cause it's very, very tasty, and it would be a really nice way to end the night. So an absolutely must share from my end.
Proud of you guys. Proud of you guys for being open to something a little bit not right over the center of the plate. I'm impressed by this wine. I'm very happy with it. I agree. Total must share for all the reasons that you guys called out. Just really, really nice, really lovely experience. It's not too overwhelming in any way. It's just really nice. And I'll tell you, I would really like to try the dry version, because I think some of these, I think just the flavor profile, take away the sweetness and the experience of all that, is really lovely.
Sure.
So if that kind of comes through and is a little bit different of a vehicle, I think that could be really cool. So keep an eye out for me going back to Hungary soon.
The dry is more of just like a classic white wine, just from this grape, right? So that would be really cool to see.
Yeah, love it
For sure. Yeah,
Cool.
I think I'm turning into a dessert wine guy. Never really my thing, but
word.
of the 3 we've had in the last 6 months, I've really enjoyed all of them. So
Absolutely.
this might be a new thing for me.
Maybe
Drink
one
my
will
water
sneak
instead
into
of eating.
Colin's wine fridge.
There we go.
Maybe.
That's gonna be my goal.
Hey, I'm open. I would love that.
I love it.
All right.
I love it. Sweet. All right. Well, there you go.
Literally.
Definitely not a waste of your wine. Ha! Well done, sir. Definitely not a waste of your
Fine.
wine, and a really cool just example of a really interesting new region and grape for us. So thanks for coming along on that one. Guys, before we go, I would love to play a quick game. Can we do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
This game's never quick.
All right.
This one's going to be quick, though.
What are we playing? Ooh, okay.
If you've listened before, you might know what I'm talking about.
All right. So we are going to play Hungarian Spellmolier. Now, for those of you who listen to the show before, Spellmolier is a game where I grossly mispronounce wine words to Colin and Joel, and they have to spell them. Often my mispronunciation helps, and it's very much going to help today, because we actually have to change the rules a little bit, because the Hungarian wine words are so impossible for these gentlemen to spell. We're going to do a lightning version of today's game. So I am going to say the word, and again, Hungarian listener, I apologize ahead of time. I actually am going to almost purposefully butcher it just to try to get all the letters in there. These two gentlemen will have one chance to spell the word, and if they don't get it right, I'm going to give you the correct pronunciation, the definition, and we're going to keep it moving. If anyone gets a point, they probably win.
Do we get to do the definition too? Because I feel like
You can
maybe.
do you want to? Do you want to take a
point.
shot at it? I'm welcome
take
to.
a shot at
I just want to make sure we
Yeah.
keep it moving, and we're not going to keep moving if Joel
Just
starts
a
making
quick-
shit up in Hungarian.
Can I just point out that Hungarian, often regarded as one of the hardest languages for English speakers to learn, by the way.
Good.
So,
Based on my quick experience,
luck,
it
us.
seems
Yeah.
accurate.
all right, let's do
All
it.
right, so gentlemen, ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Spellmolier, Hungarian Lightning Edition.
Oh, boy.
All right, Joel, since you're Hungarian, you're going first.
Oh,
Your word. There's no advantage. There's no advantage. Your
if
word.
anything, it's a disadvantage because there's
Yeah.
slightly higher expectations for me, and I am not going to live up to them. Let's go.
Your word is Harslevelu.
Oh, Harslevelu. I rode one of those when I was in Budapest. Harslevu?
See, you said a bunch of crap and you lost the word. Harslevelu.
Harslevelu. Harslevelu. Harslevelu.
That's correct.
Unbelievable.
Harslevelu. And so, yeah, I actually said it right. Harslevelu. Yeah. You did miss the accent mark and the umlaut, but we'll move forward from there.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like to take a guess what it is since you rode on one in Budapest?
Yeah. A Harslevalu is a very small old wooden sled that was often
No.
pulled up
Colin,
steep,
do you want to
steep
try
cliffs.
what?
No.
Yeah, that's the Harslevalu. That's just where the wines were made. It's winery.
No, it is another key white grape from the Tokai blends. So
You know what's funny? I was going to jokingly say white grape.
you should have. You should have. You would be tied with Joel. So Joel hits an early and unexpected lead in this. Colin, your word is Kek Francos.
Of course, Kek Francos. Yes, that would be Kekfrancos. Kek Francos.
So very close, but no. Joel?
KEC.
No.
Okay.
All right. So the correct spelling, and it's Kek Francos was the correct pronunciation, but that would have messed everyone up. It's KEKFRANKOS. You should have stuck with your K's, Colin. You're on your way there. It's your word, Colin. What is it?
Yeah, so that would be a winery.
No, this is the. Oh, bah.
Oh, I got
Joel?
it. I got it. I believe that is a winemaking vessel.
No, this is the most planted red grape
That was
in
a good
Hungary.
guess. Oh, okay.
Also known as Blaufränkisch.
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 Oh.
Yeah.
Which
I
Colin's familiar
love
with.
Blaufränkisch.
Yep,
Yeah.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Really good.
All right. Joel has a commanding lead 1-0. Joel, this is 2 words. Sorry, but that's what you get. And the word is Egri Bikkaver.
God, you're saying these. I don't even speak Hungarian, but I know how badly you're saying these.
Brutally. Terrible. I'm trying to help you. I just want you to know.
I appreciate it.
My ignorance is solely to help you. And
I
you're
think I
wasting-
know this
now
first
you've
word,
lost the
actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
Bikkaver.
Okay, so EGRE
No.
space.
Colin.
Oh.
EGG.
No. Egri B Kaver is EGRI space BIKAVE with an accent mark R. Would you like to take a shot at what that is?
Only because it'd be hilarious if this was actually right. I'm going to say that's a winery.
No.
That's my answer.
And eventually it may or may not be right. Colin,
That's the hope.
Colin, do you want to take a shot?
Sure, that is a vessel that you age wine in.
No.
I'm so glad.
And I'm going to tell you guys right now, none of the answers are winery or vessel. So let's move on from those.
God.
This is a very
that's okay.
famous red blend, often called the bull's blood of Egger.
Oh.
Eger,
Yeah.
or something. Okay. Joel, still winning 1-0. Colin, your word is Zexzard.
No way.
So bad.
I'll give it one more time.
Probably like
Zexzard.
so. Z.
No,
S.
Joel.
SZEKSZA.
No. SZEKSZA with an accent mark RD.
I would have gotten that on guess too.
And it's actually pronounced Sexard. So they could have cut out, they
Okay.
could cut out some letters there. Colin, what is Sexard?
That is a level of sweetness of Hungarian wine.
No. Cute answer though. Joel?
That is a
winery.
well-known white blend.
No. Sexard is a major Hungarian red wine region.
Of course.
Of course. All right. Joel, this is the last word. If you get
Thank
this
God.
word correct, you win. If Colin gets it correct, we have a tiebreaker word. Joel, your word is... I'm trying to think how to say this, that you'd have any shot spelling it.
God.
So your word is Kzerzegi Fusizeris.
Is that a winery?
No, I believe it's a vessel.
Kzerzegi
Wine.
Fusizeris.
KZE.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
I just want this to be
I'm
over.
honestly not even going to give it a try. Just Joel wins. I'm done.
The pronunciation is Chersegi Fuseresh.
I'm sure it's
Okay,
not.
Well,
No, that's the Chersegi Fuseresh.
Okay.
That's at least the sounds the letters make. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but
what's
anyways,
Joel? Joel, what is it? Maybe I can get a point here.
That is
ooh,
hold on. I want to say it's like, I'm just going to go based off of what you've been saying. I'm going to say that is a white wine region
No, that's what I was going to say.
in Hungary.
it is not a white wine region.
Okay, so that would have to make it a red wine region.
The literal definition here, which I think is amazing, is an aromatic white grape that's a nightmare to spell. And the spelling is CSERSZEGI space FU with the crookedy umlaut
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
SZERES.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't tell you it was 2 words. That would have changed everything. All right, Joel, rightfully, as the only Hungarian on the show, you win.
Excellent.
I'm not counting this.
Feels good. I am because I broke your streak. You've been on a streak.
No, yeah,
And
no,
now
we're
it's
still
gone,
Because
baby.
that's insane.
Can't
I
rewrite
mean,
history.
he came out the gates with Hars Levalu, and that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. Listen, you got to give credit where credit's due, but
Apologies to all the Hungarians listening out there. This has been Spellmolier Hungarian Lightning Edition.
If you're still with us, thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming back.
I don't know why.
Feels good to be a winner. I
was
will
fun.
say that. I did enjoy this show.
Great show.
Great show, great wine.
Stupid game, great show.
Great game. The game is not for you, Colin. The game is for everyone listening and watching and laughing.
They are surely loving it. I have no doubt. Listen, thank you, though, for coming back and hanging out with us. This has been great. Definitely very interested in enjoying more Tokai here. And not a waste. We definitely recommend. Go check it out.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yep. Aaron, how can people, if they do go check it out, they want to share their thoughts with us, how can they interact with us?
Yeah, I mean, 2 big things I would really love for you right now is if you don't follow us on Instagram, please do. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that as well. And check it out. We have a lot more video content going up on YouTube. That's a lot of fun. And yeah, and otherwise, keep interacting with us. We love y'all. We appreciate you. Keep coming back.
Keep coming back. We'll be doing this again next week and looking forward to it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for telling a friend. And remember, stop wasting your wine.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.